John Tavares, is he being lowballed by the Maple Leafs?
I don't know if it's a low ball, but it certainly has not happened as easy as I think everyone thought it would. I mean, certainly the Leafs are in a position where it's no mystery. John Tavares has said about 202 times into a microphone that he wants to be a Maple Leaf. I don't think anything with that has changed, but, as a result from that, I think the Leafs feel they can, try to push the envelope a little bit to see, what kind of deal they can get him to sign. Ultimately, I do think he's going to remain in Toronto, even though, as we sit here right now, I was told today the gap is pretty wide still from, how the sides see this playing out in terms of what the number ends up being. But, this is a player that I feel like if there's anyone the Leafs could push hard, it would be this type of guy, right? I mean, I just talked about Marner having made a lot of money. Well, John Tavares is deeper in his career. He's made even more. And, he's given up a lot in terms of, invested a lot into being a Maple Leaf and trying to help this group. He wants to be here. It's a great situation for his family. This could be a time where, certainly I think if he signs with the Maple Leafs, he's going to take less here than he would be able to get if he went to July 1st and went out to the highest bidder. And so determining how much lower than the market value is really where they're at right now that he should take. And so, the Leafs are I think, pushing that mark, and I don't blame them because in this case, every dollar saved is something they can spend somewhere else. You have a player who wants to be here, a player who's, over $100 million deep into his career. I think they're mindful of not wanting to, that there's pride involved here. It's not just money for money's sake, but, I do think they've driven maybe a harder bargain than you might have imagined under the circumstances. But look, there's still a week for the sides to come together and get a deal done. And as of today, anyways, I don't sense that that's not going to happen. But this one's been a little rockier, I think, than everyone was expecting.
Isn't this the one, though, that the Leafs, it feels like they have to win this one? Like everything is kind of going in their direction here. You got a guy who's, like you said, invested in the team, has been here a long time, has made a lot of money here, has roots here already. Like, I guess if you're Tavares, you look at it and you say, well, if you guys don't want to come up a little bit, I'm sure there's a team that's dying to be aggressive and pay me a ton of money. Just, how much more money would be out there for John Tavares if he can't get a deal done with Toronto? Like, how aggressive is a team going to get, considering there's really not that much available in the center market?
Well, I think there'd be a lot more money for him if he was truly willing to be a free agent and consider, all 31 other markets, whoever wants to call him. We just saw Brock Nelson get $7.5 million on the extension in Colorado. I have no doubt that Tavares could get that on the open market from any one of a number of teams that have, an opening down the middle. I don't think that makes as much sense here. And it's funny, Frankie, when you put it that way, I think a win for the Leafs could still be a win for Tavares. I mean, being seen, and look, I can't make a decision for him and his family, but I think being seen as someone who's taken a little less to help the team out, being as invested as he is in the community and everything, I mean, that stuff can go a long way too. I mean, there's probably that fine line between good sentiment and good feeling and then the actual dollars that you're leaving on the table. But there should be a solution in there for everybody. And I do think that, it can be a positive thing for John too, if he takes what's deemed to be less and he gives management a little bit more freedom to operate and put a good team around him and give him a chance to win the Stanley Cup he covets here in Toronto.